which we have seen be first pick a lot of times, together with the Lulu and Xin Zhao as well.
I was about to say, Lee Sin's open, Gwen is still open, Xin Zhao is open, Karma, Lulu, a lot of these powerful picks in the meta right now still left open with these much more targeted bans by the teams, really trying to take away the strength that they've been seeing from the teams so far this split.
And with this, I mean, yeah, you can go for the Lee Sin pick here, and then you can look towards an AP jungler, or you can just go for a solo laner if you want to keep the flex alive on the Lee Sin. Ezreal and AD carry we saw a lot of priority on as well, together with the likes of good engaged champions. But I'm looking on towards the response picks as well after this one, because you can clearly tell that they're taking a lot of time on the side of Rare Atom to find out what they want to do. And another priority AD carry that was left open obviously was the Varus, and I think that fits so nicely into this meta where you have a lot of solo laner that's all about this backline dive, it's all about being in their face, and then you have some reliable poke in the background as well.
As right now we see a Karma hover coming in. That's actually going to be locked in 4v5. Not surprising at all. I was already talking about how Karma is one of these champions that has been really strong in the meta. And Kepler takes this Jhin that they've actually been playing quite some time. And in the lane phase, they look incredibly powerful.
I agree with that, and we saw it first here in the LPL again with Jhin as a facilitating AD carry with these backline dives. I think it was JDG who was one of the first ones to bringing out this summer season, but that is going to leave open some response picks here. You could even go for a Brom already if you want to from this side, but no, they're going to go for the engage here, the reliable lockdown. And we can already see what both compositions kind of want to do here. You both have facilitating bot lanes where you're probably not going to give them too many resources, and then you're going to try and play for the solo laners, or in V5's case, at least PZX. Because you already know, Jhin, it's not really AD carry you play for. He's kind of just there in the background in team fights to go around with the curtain call. And the same for Varus. He's there for the chance of corruption. He's there for the pokes. And then the solo laners could come in and finish it off.
All right. So what are the odds that we get Leyan playing Fiddlesticks? Tell me the odds.
I think they will be 5%. I think it's a
5%?
very low
hey,
percentage.
You know, I'll take it. Sold.
I think it's one of those champions that's really nicely paired up with the Nocturne as well, because when Nocturne ults and Fiddlesticks ult, all the people that he hits with his ultimate is going to get feared due to them not having vision of Fiddlesticks.
Right?
It's like the hidden dark tech combo, but can't really go for that Nocturne or ban. And speaking of bans, you can see Rare Atom now just trying to remove a lot of these supports. Actually, the Ryze as well. Ryze is a champion that had a lot of priority. Go on.
You know, I know you're going to say something smart and actually like about Ryze and him in the meta, but imagine if you had Ryze and Fiddlesticks, where Fiddlesticks ults onto the Ryze ult, he gets teleported into the enemy team, immediately, you see, big brain right there.
Now, I'm going to say I don't think that's the reason Ryze was banned. But I like the thought process. I like the theory. It's very optimistic. I like the creative ideas.
It's like what you do with Nunu when you have them. You do the same thing with Nunu. Again, you're trying to make these smart calls, and I'm just like, nah, but what about this? I mean, the Nidalee, too. It's one of those things that Leyan likes to play a lot. Even if they don't have the Renekton, they actually like to pair it up with having Lee Sin already.
Yeah, you know what? I actually like the Volibear pick here. I think Volibear is one of these really underrated junglers right now, and I think he functions very well onto the likes of Xin Zhao, just because he likes to jump in your face. Volibear loves to be able to take these extended team fights where he can get the W up. He can also have his shield and whatnot. Now, I don't think this Fiora is actually going to be locked in. I'd be very surprised to see that. But I do like the Camille, and it will actually also get locked in as well. So yeah, Fiora just, you know, it's such a team fight, skirmish heavy meta, and Fiora just doesn't really have a place in this meta yet unless you turn on to a clear 1-3-1 composition, but that gets kind of hard to play. And with this last login to come through, yeah, I would honestly love for this Karma to go mid, and I would love them for them to pick a support. Alistar also up and available. I think that would be a good response into the Lee Sin knocking away the Volibear as well. But we saw a lot of success with Rakan in the day before yesterday's games as well, with I1D from LNG really smurfing it up and earning himself an MVP performance. So you can clearly see right here, there's some dive potential for the side of V5 where they want to come in. They have the shields in the background, and they're all about the dive once again.
all about trying to see if they get that early game online, what they're going to be able to do with that, but it is going to be difficult. There is a lot to peel back on the side of Rare Atom, and now they've locked in the Gwen. The AP damage source has been played in the jungle, can be played top lane as well. It's really got that flexibility that works with what was needed, what was lacking for Rare Atom so far.
Yeah, and you know, I take a look on both team compositions right now, and I'm afraid I kind of have to favor the team composition of Rare Atom right now. I think in a vacuum it's decent, but when it plays into the composition of V5 as well, it just gets that much better. There's some kite back potential with the Varus, disengage with both Nautilus, but also the Lee Sin cake. And then you have Gwen, which is a champion that heavily benefits of people running into you. And all of V5's composition, they want to run into you. So once again, V5, I think they're very reliant of getting an early lead to snowball, because I do think that they are going to get outscaled of the composition Rare Atom has drafted for themselves.
I have a theory that we're going to see an early gank by PZX up top lane, going to be able to get the kill. Going to have the first blood continuing for V5, but Rare Atom are going to hold strong until about 15 minutes when they group together, and they're going to have this big old brawl that wins them the game.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yep.
Yeah, it actually does. So there you go. But once again, I think a lot of it will... A lot of it will come down to PZX in the beginning of the game. I think they need to gain some priority with the Karma in the mid lane. He is playing into a melee matchup, so it should be fairly easy. And I would love for him to come in and challenge the Volibear. Try to create man advantages. Try to set up favorable scuttle fights where you actually benefit of having the priority in the lane, because there is still priority you can play for. And then bot laners, I expect them to just kind of be left alone. It wouldn't surprise me if you just saw the 2 AD carries having a 1v1 matchup and then the supports just started roaming around. Because I feel like this is all about the top side. And then later into the stage of the game, we can start addressing the AD carries.
Well, we'll have to get into that. We've loaded up. We're already getting into game 1 between Victory 5 and Rare Atom. Let's jump into the game.
And here we are, some early skirmishes as well. Sweeper actually didn't pick up that ward, so no early XP advantage onto the side of Rare Atom here. And it seems like a pretty standard formation we get here. Early wards are out pretty much to stop any early invades, and we know that's something a lot of LPL teams like to do. League of Legends is a game that starts as soon as you spawn. I am all for it as well.
I hate line scrimmage. I hate boring, just staring at each other. They're like, oh, I don't want to fight level 1. I want to have a pentakill level 1. Let's go, teams. Come on, give me it.
Once again, I don't think I can deliver that for you this time around, but maybe in the future we'll have it. This is a series. It's a best of 3. There's still loads of game and levels we want to have. Exactly. But Mad Magical, the junglers, once again, we talked about them. These are the people that need to get ahead. Now, with Xin Zhao into the clears of Volibear, he's not that fast. So I'm expecting him to just take the Raptors, skip the Crocs, and then move immediately up towards the top side of the map, where they can create a skirmish around this Scuttle Crab from top. Because as you can already see, both laners, or junglers rather, are pathing up towards this top side of the map.
It looks like it is going to be PZX first on that call. Already on the top half of the map, you can see a full clear coming in from Leyan. Not actually wanting to try to match up, maybe try to just power farm, clear a little bit faster than the Xin Zhao. But bot lane, look at this, already getting the flash out of ZYF. Hong making sure that Rare Atom have control.
Yeah, bit interesting. ZYF actually started with the Gleaming Quill there, and you know, there's not much you can do with that unless you've gone for the Spell Thieves as a support inventory. The Grand Entrance, just way better, just in case if you don't get that level 2, well, you'll at least have the getaway with the Grand Entrance. But yeah, up towards the top side of the map, Clear had already come through here. He's just flashing.
I was about to say, flash over the wall, and PZX does it. Cube has no idea. He had the ward in the river. Now getting surprised by PZX, showing up in the top lane. They've got the knock up, even with Snip. Is it going to be enough trying to get the damage? Finally, Invincible is able to take him down, but Leyan, he strikes lightning back and catches 1 kill for himself.
I am lost for words. And they trade even. First blood does go over to the side of V5. And we said we wanted skirmishes around the Scuttle. They're not done yet.
Invincible trying to live up to his name and already showing back in the top lane, even though he did die once. Wow, this is a lot. We expected V5 to look for the first blood, look for this play, and they definitely are here to show.
Yeah, I'm not really happy with the execution.
Are you not entertained? What?
I am definitely entertained. I'm all for the entertainment. But for V5 to find their chances in the early game, PZX, he just got double scuttled. He can't go in and counter jungle. Raptor's already gone, but he can look for the top side with the Crocs, and Cube, obviously with the Gwen, you don't really take flash. So after these Crocs, he could look for another play towards the top side if he wants to flip it again. Even look for a dive. It is a stacked wave that's coming in.
I was about to say, it's a stacked wave. They've got to set up this dive, and Cube, even though only at level 3, isn't going to be the easiest to dive, since it is still Gwen. Can try to dodge around the fight, and there, double TPs coming in top lane, looking for Cube. Got the Howl, trying to see what they can get with the knockup. Going to be a trade, 1-for-1. Uniboy taking way too much damage. FoFo, he's going to look to see if he can get over the wall, but with Invincible there, he's scared away. Wait, is Uniboy sticking around still?
You know what? That was not all too bad. You got a TP out of it. You got another kill. You traded your jungler that needed to reset anyway. He had already gone for full clear. And depending on how the mid lane is looking, I don't actually think Uniboy is going to be losing all too much. So for V5, they trade even with that one. And that Rare Atom can be happy about that. But look at Cube's level. He lost that big stack wave up towards the top side. And all he has to do now is pick up the scraps in the mid lane. So they did a good job at kind of shutting the top laner down here from the side of Rare Atom, but here's the thing. No bot lane priority, 80 carry 1v1 once again, and Leyan, he's out for counter jungling. Uniboy does have flash, but he needs to be a bit careful here when there's no vision of the rest of the members.
Oh no, you didn't realize there's so much control coming in from Leyan, and Hong, he takes his own kill and says, thanks, I'm going back bot to help out my ADC.
And we talked about how Rare Atom stylistically really isn't an early game proactive team, but this time around, look at the vision they invested in. There's already 2 pink wards in the enemy red side jungle. PZX, he had no idea what was about to come. Yes, he could have suspected Hong being gone, but being killed there is just super unlucky, and it does not put yourself in a better situation. As a Xin Zhao, already a level down, no trade, not able to pick up the red side camps. It's really looking like a good start for Rare Atom.
I mean, this is an amazing start for them, because we said how they're a team that likes to play for the mid game, likes to play for the late game. Well, V5 are the team that tend to play all chaotic. I mean, we've already seen them living up to that name. Rare Atom have just been answering them excellently to make sure that they're actually slightly ahead.
And yeah, that's the thing. Every time they went for a play, it just seemed like Rare Atom still came out on top, but they're still going.
Lightning going to be able to get the shield, and here's the flash from Uniboy. The dunk! PZX, what happened, my dude? He just gets annihilated, and FoFo wants to be able to continue the fight, has the ward dash. Invincible, you're not looking so invincible now, not if FoFo is going to be able to land the Q, even though you did go over the wall to be able to survive. You're forced so far away, and all this attention that Cube got early is completely mitigated.
Yeah, now it's Invincible losing so much CS. You can already see Cube back to level 6, Invincible only level 5. And in that skirmish, Magical, that was a Volibear with Stormbringer available, level 6, before any of the members of V5 had it. And the Sheen was there, so yes, he was just going to get one shot as soon as PZX went in there.
Just looking like another V5 early game where they get this proactive play. There's the awesome flash over the wall. You think great things are about to happen, and then somehow their opponent is able to answer them, get all these kills back, and now Rare Atom sit on a 2,000 gold lead.
But you know, even though they didn't succeed at what they tried to do, they are following the game plan that was kind of given to them. We talked about it. They need to be proactive in the early game. They need to snowball, because quite frankly, they are just getting outscaled by the comp of Rare Atom. But now that they didn't snowball the lead, now that they didn't get the lead that they needed, and Rare Atom with a better scaling composition is already 1,000 gold ahead, means that you need to be going for some desperation plays soon as well, because you need to set up your own kind of vision. And when you take a look onto the map, it's still very much Rare Atom favored, both in map state, in terms of vision, and in terms of gold lead. So I'd like to see ZYF, as soon as he get that quickness, as soon as he has the ultimate onto the Rakan, leave bot lane, see what you can make work on the other side of the map, see if you can get any kind of shutdown, and see if you can get your team a lead back into it.
Yeah, he tried, but he's only level 5, as you had said. You need to be level 6 if you actually want to be looking for these plays, especially onto someone as mobile as FoFo. But now you're just wasting your time mid lane. You weren't able to really get much. You're already booking it back bot lane, which gives plenty of time for Rare Adam to take yet another objective, though Cube is fighting against Invincible. They're finally the same level. Over the wall, not going to follow it up. Instead, wanting to be able to get the Rift Herald.
Yeah, but both supports are moving up as well, so we could still have an extended team fight. Going from the posturing, I think they're looking for it.
Oh, they definitely are. And the kick! What a kick on PZX! He has to use the Crescent Strike to try to get away. They're trying to be able to chase it, trying to get the slow, the flash coming in, going to be able to get the stun, but the knockup coming in from Leyan. And Leyan has to use the Stormbreaker, but he can't survive. PZX was able to kite out perfectly.
And that is the shutdown we talked about, Mad Magical. That is the overextension from Leyan. So yes, they do get the Rift Herald, and yes, they'll be sure to use it for some good platings with how much pressure they have on the map. But you gave V5 at least something or some way back into the game with a shutdown onto PZX, which could get him an earlier Essence Reaver to play with here for the Xin Zhao.
Oh, getting cleansed out of Kepler, and Hong showing up into the bot lane. Do they look for the dive? Nah, I think if that had landed, they definitely look for the dive, but now they're just going to be able to get some plates.
Need to be a bit careful here. ZYF could look for something, but yeah, I think they're just going to play it a bit more safety. And, you know, Mad Magical, we take a look at the ontowards that inventory, shot down onto Leyan, picked off by PZX, and what would you know? That's an early Essence Reaver that he should be making use of very soon, but he's already spotted on a ward, so I don't think he can do much.
I think PZX is continuing to try to play as aggressively as humanly possible in this early game. Now, I mean, sure, you've died 3 times, but you've also been a part of 3 kills for your team, so you take it as you leave it, I suppose.
And you know, with the vision down to PZX at the bottom, Rare Atom knows they can do whatever they want up towards the top side of the map. iBoy.
Good flash.
Forced to flash out.
Flash and heal just to be able to get some distance between himself and ZYF. It's a good call just to make sure that you're not dying to that sort of play. But all the while, top lane, Rift Herald gets popped. Double TP was expended by Uniboy and Invincible, and they weren't able to really stop much. The charge still came in from Shelly, and they're able to get a clean recall, which means that there could be a play made elsewhere.
And that gives such an advantage to Rare Atom as well. Whenever there's a skirmish on the other side of the map, 2 solo laners right now will have TP advantage.
Oh, he finally found it!
This means V5 has just forfeited the next 5 minutes of their game.
Yep, and finally that control ward, the second one that led to the 3rd death of PZX, has been... Woo! Okay, iBoy. Just they delete Kepler. I mean, that's what happens when the cleanse is gone, I suppose. You just are able to get the double ult, and all the while, they get themselves the 2nd dragon.
And you know, this is just the start, really. The side of Rare Atom, they're only going to pick up from here. You can already see all the gold right now between the members. iBoy, without having many resources being given to him, is already 1k up. In the mid lane, almost 1k up as well. The jungle, quite even actually. And so is top side of the map. And speaking of top side of the map, PZX could be looking for one of these interesting plays again.
I love it. I love that PZX is trying to play as proactively as humanly possible. You were talking about that's really what V5 need to continue to rely on. Hopefully that PZX doesn't die immediately in these fights and is able to actually pick up these aggressive plays, these aggressive picks to get them back in the game.
Yeah, but I will say there's a good difference between trying to set up a play with ping wards, roaming your support off and see if you can get a skirmish around the buff respawning, or just like, oh, top laner is top, I'm just going to dive because I don't know what else to do. And that kind of feels like what we're seeing from V5. You know, they had a game plan in the early game, game plan kind of fell apart. But they still have leverage. Shirelius have been picked up in the mid lane now. Obviously, the Essence Reaver is still there from PZX, so he does still do a fair amount of damage. But they are just going to get outscaled. They need to make use of the small lead they have in the jungle with the item coming through. Because you take a look onto Leyan, and we all know this patch, it's all about the Divine Sunderer.
Getting them heals, making sure that you're even more difficult to take down, as well as all that damage you're able to provide up front. It makes Volibear scary, and right now, this is where we can actually see that advantage. There's still the TP advantage for Q. Still, it's got half the cooldown for both the Uniboy and Invincible until that's going to be back up, so that's about another 2 minutes and 30 seconds, while Rare Atom have an advantage.
And that's the thing. It's still going to take some time before they can make use of it. Now, this time around, PZX in the bottom lane is not spotted out on ward. And remember, iBoy had no flash.
Now he's spotted out, but it's way too late. Tried to use the Prowler's Claw to be able to get away, even with the depth charge. The damage back onto ZYF. Trying to kite back into Alcove. Doesn't get slowed down by the spear. Instead, it's going to be Cube jumping on ZYF and looking for Kepler as well with the needlework. Instantly a triple kill coming in from Rare Atom. While Uniboy gets chased down, has to flash away from FoFo. Rare Atom cleaning up in the bot lane.
And this is exactly what we talked about, Mad Magical. If V5 ever wanted to create a skirmish on the other side of the map, well, there's a TP advantage for Cube, so yes, he does lose some waves up towards the top side. But a triple kill down towards this spot side of the map, he's already picked up 4 plates this game. You're quite happy with that situation. And yes, they get 1 kill onto the Jhin, but that's just a huge lead once again from Rare Atom. V5, they're so desperate.
Yeah, and you look
it kind of comes down to the setup as well.
The thing that's so
you
unfortunate,
can see that.
It looked like a great start from the side of Victory 5.
It really did, but the problem was ZYF actually misses the grand entrance. He does hit the quickness, but the knockup just doesn't come through. And from that point in time, the fact that iBoy gets to live, it just means that you can never take this fight. The man advantage is going to be too big.
Exactly. It's just so unfortunate that they just weren't able to get that burst damage necessary onto iBoy. Honestly, I think that was a clever use of Prowler's Claw onto ZYF to gain a little bit of distance away from PZX.
Yeah, and it is one of the things that really does just mean that Prowler Claws has been the preferred pickup on Varus as well. With Dustblade of Dragfa, yes, you can go Invincible, but it only gives you 18 lethality. Prowler's Claw actually gives you 21, and it lets you Prowler's Claw onto minion and ult. And speaking of ulting...
And look at that. It's always poor iBoy, who's the focus coming in from V5. This time around, though, much better. And a nice knockup onto Leyan. They will fall back with all 5 members here for V5, so this might mean they get a little bit of control around the river.
Yeah, it most certainly should be, but there's still 40-50 seconds on towards the Drake. iBoy will respawn in time. And this kind of feels like, as a last stand for V5, I think just from the posturing and from the vision control they've set up here that they'll try and contest it. But still, this is a huge gold lead over to the side of V5. Cube has picked up their Riftmaker, Divine Sunderer for Leyan, and obviously the Lee Sin for FoFo. With the Guldborg, this is going to be an almost impossible journey for V5, but take a look onto PZX, take a look onto the Karma Shields, and ZYF's Engage. Those will be the saving grace if a team fight were to break out.
I mean, we also have great Engage. If you look at the side of Rare Atom, they have FoFo going in. Not going to be able to actually tag anyone now with the Curtain Call, trying to get the damage onto Cube. The pullback coming in with the Dredge line, and the kill onto Uniboy. The dunk in. They've got what they need in this fight. Kepler trying to be able to get away, but they already got the double kill on the back line and take him out as well. Poor Invincible, the only man standing.
And there you just see the gold lead that Rare Atom has right now. There you see the composition difference as well. So easy for them to find leverage, to find and engage whenever they really want to. And there's just not much you can do. Yes, you have the Karma Shield. Yes, ZYF came in with a good disengaging ultimate. But after that, you had nothing in your toolkit. That was it. That was your arsenal. All gone. No damage to back it off. And Rare Atom, they just cleaned up.
Cleaned up so well in that one, where it was the dive that worked perfectly for them. I mean, they already have Leyan. He has great engagement. FoFo, I have to say, this was great coming in from him.
It really was, and he's just finding some nice disengages with the flash as well outside of this, and then you bait them into a fight. And as soon as you're already this overstep, FoFo does still have Guldborg and nothing to worry about. Leyan with the Stormbringer, just disabling the turret. I mean, there's really not much to say about this replay. It is just a difference in where these teams are right now in terms of experience, in terms of gold leads.
I mean, this is when you know a team has a good gold lead. When you look at Hong's inventory after this, with zone years completed. We saw it yesterday, I believe, Leona going for a very similar build, if I do recall. Building that zone years first just to have more reliable engages and being able to survive long enough to get another rotation of spells out.
I'm actually really a fan of it. It works well in the LPL due to the heavy skirmish style there is here as well, but also due to the fact that when you engage, you wait for your summoner spell, not your summoner spells, but your ability cooldowns to come back online. And Leona, her E and Q, those cooldowns are 4 seconds. So by the time you go in, by the time you stopwatch, by the time the stopwatch is finished, you're going to have your engage tools again. And the same kind of goes for Nautilus. So really like this little pickup you get where you adapt the inventory to the actual style of play that we see from the teams in this league.
And here it is, working out to perfection for Rare Atom in, what did we say earlier? The mid-game team fights. They are looking amazing here against V5, who keep attempting, they keep wanting these fights to work out, but they just don't have the damage to back any of it up.
And you know what? Honestly, Matt Magical, it wouldn't surprise me that RA just told them, we're going to start Baron now. You're going to have to come to us. And if you don't do that, we're just going to take the Baron, and then we're going to end the game.
Hey, if it was season 1, they would have been able to do it already. You know, back in the day when Baron used to spawn right at the moment. But now they're just waiting it out pretty much by saying, all right, we're waiting for that 20 minutes. Until then, how many of you can we pick off a little bit too overextended? Will you guys try to be able to wrestle any control over your own jungle away from us? Nah, you're not going to be able to.
And yeah, that's Gale Force on cooldown as well. That's 1 minute cooldown, so not much mobility for Kepler either. He does not have the flash. And I think they're just going to be pushing out the wave here. They're just going to get the control around the jungle. They're going to get this left Rift Herald charge. And then after that, they're just going to go for the fight, it seems.
Going for the engage. PZX takes so much damage. Again, gets dunked by Leyan, flashing away to be able to survive from the fight. But they got the dredge line, even with the curtain call on to 1. They get the kill on to at least Hong. They're going to be able to get a double kill in this fight. V5 starting to turn it around. Not. But no, FoFo dives back in to be able to take down the support. But there's the triple kill. 1, 2, 3. Where's 4? He's got the crit. He's waiting for it, trying to be able to get the damage onto 1 more so he can count to 4. Not enough damage, though. Looking for the follow-up onto Cube. They have Invincible nearby, getting a slow, getting a kill, taking 4 members of Rare Atom down.
And would they have been able to pick up that ace? Surely they would have been able to get the Baron, but this time around, still very early into the game. iBoy, 10-second death timers, but Rare Atom with a huge overextension there, trying to go for that tower dive. I feel like the correct play there would have been, all right, get the last charge, set up the Baron instead, but no, they just wanted to go all the way. And there you kind of see the way that V5's composition can still work. You get all the shields, you get the healing reduction from the Karma's Chemtech Putrefy as well. And let's just take a look at that replay once more.
Looked like a good pick initially.
It really did, but then once again, PZX with that ultimate on the Xin Zhao, splitting them apart. And as soon as Leyan goes in for this one, they're way too overextended. Curtain calls come through. I really love Jhin in this meta where they so teamfight skirmish and you can kind of pick up kills on the back end of a fight. And then with the Karma, with the extra movement speed, you kind of just get to pick up the rest of the members.
And it honestly, that tower, I love that they show us how low it got in that fight, but still was able to stand. Oh no, Invincible, what are you doing here? You need to back off this one. They got the dunk, they're looking for the kick, they got the damage. They're not going to be able to escape, even with the hook shot. They're trying to chase it down with the needlework, even with the quickness coming in from Zhao to fly F. They actually might have been able to save his life. Invincible, living up to the name.
Yeah, but how many resources was spent from the side of V5 just to keep him alive? That's the quickness down. That's Camille no longer with a flash. That is for 15 seconds onto this Ocean Soul for Rare Atom. They had a miracle fight before, but this time around they're going to fight on Rare Atom's terms. And I might be a bit scared for V5's behest. They need to look for engage together with the Xin Zhao, and they're starting up the fight with a curtain call.
Curtain call, but Leyan pretty tanky at this point with that Thorn Mail already built up. Going to be able to absorb a lot of the pressure that Kepler was trying to be able to unleash hell onto Rare Atom. But all of this is just a dance. Like you said, this is Rare Atom's turf.
And you can see they don't need to rush anything. They're just waiting for the rest of the members of V5 to overextend. You can see FoFo off to a flank here. Might look for a kick, but he is spotted out on a ward.
Invincible is 2, though. Gonna get the hook shot. It's already the Dragon of the Soul completed. The kill onto PZX. Looking for Uniboy, the flash away from Hong. Uniboy taken down by the hail of arrows. And now a nice pull back onto ZYF for a double kill out of iBoy. Kepler, you're going the wrong way, my friend. Trying to be able to escape. They haven't even taken the tier 1 in this bot lane. Cube getting revenge for the early game, taking more kills for himself.
Yeah, and this time around, you just saw the difference in the style of play from the beforehand team fight and this team fight here. You came to fight when Rare Atom was first on the objective. You were forced to walk into them. And when that happens, there's just not much to do. You're getting poked out by the Varus. By the time the team fight starts, it's just too late. And they should be able to pick up Barry now. And with this, with the Ocean Soul, it should be the final nail in the coffin for V5, at least in that first game.
I mean, unless another miracle can happen for V5, but I also feel like they need about 7 of them. That is the only way they can really truly come back into this game. Because even after they got the miracle last time, what control did they have around this Dragon Pit?
And that's the thing, it would have been so huge if they would have been able to get a Baron off the team fight, but they were just able to get a good reset, and that was just it. And when the fight finally came about, Rare Atom did such a good job at splitting up the members of V5. You can see there is no coordinated fighting there. The Karma couldn't work, where she's able to give 5 members the shielding. They're just split up, they're split apart. Xin Zhao ultimate didn't block anything for anyone. So, yeah, everything from the get-go of that team fight just went wrong for V5.
It doesn't seem like it's going to go any better anytime soon. Like you said, I feel like this is where you start plotting game 2. You're starting to figure out, all right, what went wrong in this game? How do we fix it going into the next time? Because one of the things which we expected was PZX trying to play towards the top lane, but it just didn't work out. And now Hong has gone golden with the curtain call, doing only a little bit of damage over the TP from Q, but not the scare away V5. The kick coming in on Invincible, looking for the shutdown kill, and they get a 8th kill coming in from Cube, looking for more, looking for the dive, getting the flash away from PZX, looking for that final one. Only iBoy surviving, trying to get a little bit of damage back for the team, but just can't do it. Rare Atom want to be able to take this first game and show everyone that they are going to be another dominant team like they were back in spring.
Yeah, they're still going to look to pat their KDA a little bit here, but it just looked like Uniboy. He wants to save what he has left.
Hong, he tried. He wanted to be able to get the pull, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. Victory for Rare Atom.
And you know what, man, Magical, I'm just going to say it. I think this first game panned out exactly how we expected it to be.
The 14 minutes, not 15 minutes, you know. It was close, though.
Yes, V5 came in very explosive, and you could definitely see that they had a game plan trying to punish that Gwen off towards the top side when she had no flash. But already from the get-go, it kind of started to go wrong. Yes, they got the first blood, but they traded even. Volibear getting the kill. Leyan then double scuttling PZX, going into counter jungling him with the bot lane priority, and it just felt like V5 never got any leverage into the game. So by the time they finally felt like, all right, we got a decent team fight, they just couldn't translate it into anything.
I'm still a big fan of the cheeky flash play. Still a big fan. I wish that had worked out better and it wasn't a 1-for-1 trade.
You just know that's going in a highlight reel, or that's going on Reddit on someone being like, this just happened in the LPL.
Oh, for sure. It was definitely an awesome play to watch, but just didn't work out for V5. And before we toss it to break, I do want to even talk about Cube. I was kind of mentioning it towards the end, right before that fight. How much focus would put into Cube, putting behind this Gwen, and it still ended up going like, what, 8-3 in that game?
Yeah,